I've been working quite a bit of this Texas root beer stuff lately. I found a half a bucket of it in my storage, and this is a particularly chunky piece, so I said maybe this is a good one for a video. So here we go. Let's see, we got a 5 ounce, although you can't read it very well anymore, and a 9 ounce, 9.6 ounce. We use these two boppers for the first stage, and then after that I'm going to use the 3/8 inch copper rod, right? 3/8, yeah, 3/8. Yeah. Some of this that I found is heat treated, kind of mixed in, but I know this one is not because I never heat treat something this fat and or this chunky. Yeah, this stuff right here under the cortex looks good on this side, but this side I don't know. We'll see. I'll try to save some big flakes. Yeah, I can at least get something out of that one, although it's kind of curved. So I'll try for some of those wherever I can see a good opportunity. I've been doing knapping on the side to try to catch up with back orders. Yeah, I need to not do the, well, I always say that. I got to figure out a way to speed up the progress on the back orders. Yeah, that way I don't get stressed out. That's always fun, trying to figure out how to speed up the knapping without breaking everything. It's very difficult. Yep, because you end up breaking everything when you speed up. It's kind of counterproductive. Nice. It looks pretty, but usually the prettiest parts of this stuff do not nap well. No. Although that's not too bad. But it naps better when it's ripply. This is not ripply. This is, you know, it'll cleave in a flat manner, but this one, see how ripply that gets? It's actually higher quality when it does that. But you know, with high grade stuff, you also run the risk of accentuating your mistakes. Yeah, that's always fun, right? You get to see not only your mistakes, but you get to see them accentuated when you work the high grade stuff. So this is mid grade, but this is high grade on this side. It's pretty typical of a lot of these gravel cherts. Well, any chert actually. Yeah, it's pretty common with any chert. You'll get different qualities of the stone in the same piece. Hopefully, over time you'll get used to trimming off the bad parts so you don't end up with, you know, mid-grade to low-grade material when you're trying to thin it. Thinning and low-grade material do not work well together. No. Trim the cortex without trimming too much of this nice stuff. Yeah, it's a matter of luck. I can't take all the credit if it ends up working out well. I can't take all the credit. A lot of it is luck if you end up skimming off the cortex without taking too much of the good stuff. Come on. Yeah. I can't be too gentle with it, or that happens. Incomplete fracture. There's other reasons why that happens, but one of them is not enough force. And as you can see, if you're observant, I have not abraded it yet. Some of you might say, oh yeah, no abrading. What's the problem? You don't like abrading or what? Well, yes, I don't like abrading. Got that part right. But number two, I don't need to yet. Nope. It's not the thinning stage. It's just the bifacing stage. So this is like the quarry blank with all the cortex and nasties removed. Nasty lumps and bumps. Right? There's no cracks in it. This is the quarry blank. This is what I would stick in a bag or a basket to bring home. If I was living back in the day. Sometimes I spend a few days doing just this and nothing else with my rocks. But I find that to be a little bit boring. And it wears out my wrist too fast because I'm using in many cases, a heavy bopper. And if I do it all day, instead of taking a break and actually finishing one out, it wears on me. Yeah, can't do it all day, every day. Or I can't do the bifacing for a substantial part of the day either. It's got to be balanced between easy napping and difficult in terms of amount of force. Now, in terms of thinning, I got to balance that out too. A whole day of thinning wears you out because it requires a lot of focus. The angles, the tweaking that goes on to get something thin is so subtle that it wears on you, wears you out. Because you have to stay in the zone. You gotta find that sweet zone and stay in it and keep your foot on the gas. Don't let up. Because as soon as you start letting up, you get incomplete fractures and step fractures and short flakes. Yeah. Yikes. It's a scoop out. It's starting to get thinner. This is when it starts to rear its ugliness. If the rock is going to get ugly, this is the stage. Oh, that's so lucky that I didn't remove too much of that edge. Yeah, lucky. That could have been bad. That could have been a lot worse. Yeah, I can make something out of that. All right, so, and yeah, this type of edge, some people say, well, that's a good edge that the overshot did for you. No, I've got to completely nap that away because it's too smooth. It's got to have a little bit of an edge to it. And it dips down too much, and it's scooped out too much. See, there's a concavity there now. Whereas if it had stopped shorter, I would have more meat on this side, and I wouldn't have to worry too much about that scoop out continuing from up here to down here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I scooped it out, but this is worse of a scoop out than this I like to have an edge that is, you know, pretty straight, or as straight as I can get it. It makes things easier. Back in the day, they didn't care, so I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why we care so much these days. Back in the day, they didn't care too much about this wonkiness. But if I want to sell these as you know, modern flint knapping items, then I need to keep it straight. If I wanted to do a reproduction of something that's wonky, then I can do that. I can make it wonky and then have an excuse. It's a reproduction of something that is not straight. Those are not much in demand, but you know, at least I have an excuse. Now, what am I going to do with this? I got plans. I'm doing a bunch of paleo on the side as far as practice points, and I don't want to do it on video because it screws up my learning process. Because doing it for video is different than doing it for practice. Yeah. Doing it for video, I've got to make sure that it doesn't break, because it's just a bummer to break it on video. But I break it sometimes without worrying about it when I'm not on video, and say, oh well, you know, and now I know the limits of the material, and no one's going to have a heart attack watching the video of the breakage. It's just me. I don't care. So there's that difference there. There's that difference between the video and real life, or off camera. Now, I did not use this one. I hardly ever use this small one. The only time I really use this is if I'm afraid to use too much force, where it just needs to be slightly trimmed, or there's a spot that I need to get in there that this one is too wide to reach. Like sometimes there's a big old step fracture or stack. I can get in there and hit the front of that stack with a small bopper, just like I do with indirect percussion to eliminate a stack or a big old step fracture. I can hit it with a small bopper much more easily than with the big bopper. So that's it. Dang, I thought I had more opportunity to show how to do this. Did you catch it? Did you figure it out? No? Some of you might say, well, you used an overshot. That means overshots are good. Well, luckily, it didn't mess me up, that overshot. And sometimes you can make tools out of these, like scrapers of some sort. They did use some of these as tools sometimes because it has a strong edge on this side. And you can either wrap this or haft this side without much modification. And what you do is you just sharpen this edge. And it can be used as a hide scraper or anything else that requires a stout edge on the scraper. See how it's nice and stout. So yeah, it is useful. Or you can just flip it around and, you know, grind this part out and then use this as a knife without much modification at all. Yeah. So I mean, there are these that have been used as tools in the archaeological record, but they don't set out to make these. These are just incidental tools. They go, oh, that looks pretty good. Just like an incidental tool like this that's really flat. And you go, oh, that looks pretty good. Incidentally, that will be good for opening up a hide right there. Look how nice that is. But it's incidental. You don't set out to make these. Same with these. Incidental, not intentional. Some researchers even will say that nope, there's a certain degree of intentionality. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, of course, there's some degree, but it's too much to it's too much to claim as part of your skill. These lucky things that happen. Yeah, you can't claim it as part of your skill. These lucky things are part of the technology. Luck is never part of the technology. Of course, some points, styles, do exhibit lots of luck, like the stuff that can break easily if you're not careful. So that particular style does reflect some degree of luck, because the only things that survive are the lucky ones. Like when you try to flute the whole thing from tip to base. Yeah, there are exceptions to luck being part of the technology, but usually it isn't. Usually luck is not part of the technology. And you can't claim it as a skill, because it's just fortunate happenstance. See, this can also be used like one of those overshot flakes, but it's not an overshot flake, but it has a nice stout edge. But it came off of there. All right, very similar in the shape. Okay, why do I point that out? Because it's not only the overshot flakes that can be used in that manner. Okay? So, don't think they're special. That's what gets me. Some people think they're special. They're not. I think there's a crack going right through there. Now, how do I expose it? A couple of ways. I can hit it with this. I don't think that'll expose it. And if it doesn't go all the way through there, and if I break it open, that means I just wasted the material. So it's not weak. I just hit it with that plastic and it didn't come off, so it's not a weak crack. I got to see how far it goes in without removing too much material, because it could end up with some good stuff on this side, although that doesn't look too promising. See that? There might be fire damage or some weird thing going on. See that? That's what it looks like when you get fire damage on this particular type of stone when you heat treat it. So that's what that could be. Although that could be from other things too that I'm just not aware of. Different geologic forces. So let me just mess with this, see what happens. I'm just going to mess with it in a random way. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to see how much I can preserve. Just by trial and error, just hitting it and see what's going on. What's going on in there? Yeah, I'm abrading more on this one because it just feels like I need to. I don't know why. A lot of flint knapping is just going by feel. That's a nice grade of material. I got a bunch of flakes of this size. What I'm going to do with them, I don't know. Flint and steel kits? I don't know. Maybe. What am I going to do with these? We will see. I will see. I'll think of something. Yeah, I'll think of something for these. Come on. What's going on? You're not that tough. There you go. Yeah, there is a crack. I just went right there, so I revealed it. It is a crack. How deep? I don't know yet. I can see it on top, so it's all the way through. Yeah, so I'm not afraid to do that. I was gonna lose that anyway. All right, so now we're closer to being in business. Right. And I've got some more of that Knife River, but I want to work on this kind of stuff first. This is similar to Knife River, although Knife River it can be a lot nicer to work than this Texas root beer. It can also be more of a pain. So these are both mixed bags, these types of cherts or flints. Because I think this is actually, well, this is limestone. If it was chalky, it would be a flint. And some of this does have really chalky cortex. Some of the root beerish looking stuff. So it is a flint when that happens. Because flint forms within chalk. Chert forms within limestone. So this is limestone on the cortex, so it's a chert. Now is that a juicy spot right there to take that off? Usually when it's that perfect, I don't hit it right, and I don't know why. It's a perfect place to hit. Yeah, it's perfect. Well, it is. I can get a flake to go if I just hit it right, and I've had a lot of trouble on the perfect stuff, but I'm gonna try it anyway. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, that wasn't too bad either. Nice. But that material is nasty. Right there. I gotta peel that off. Did it do it? Oh, it almost did it. Dang it. It's going too deep. I don't like it when I have to gouge out too much and get it too thin too soon. Yeah. Well, we gotta do it. I hate to get it too thin too soon, but it's the law of the West. Some of you say, it's not too soon. I wish I could do it. I know. Just give it time. You can thin over time. Don't worry. And then you'll get to the point where you're trying to make a reproduction of a point that's thick. And then you'll have the opposite problem. I can't keep it thick. It's all, my brain is wired for thinning. I can't do it. It'll come full circle. I wish I could make the almonds again. That's what you'll be saying, because I've said it myself. Why is it so difficult to keep it thick nowadays? Because the brain has been tuned to thin for so long that that's all you can do. Some of you say, well, I wish I had that problem. I'll never make thick points, ever. I can't see a point where I'll make a thick point. Yeah, I know, but you can't see it now, but you'll find out. Someone will ask you, can you make one of these, but make it thick, because none of them were thin? You'll go, sure, I can do it. Heck, I can just go back to being a newbie. Right? No, doesn't work that way. You'll have a hard time. Really hard time. If you're like me. If you're not, if you were a genius, I'm not talking to you. I make myself laugh when I say that, because, yeah. I'm not talking to you geniuses. You can just switch back and forth. Different modes of napping. No problems. You're scratching your head. I don't understand why these people have so many problems. It's like they're built for all this suffering. Why are some people built for suffering? I never suffer. Yeah, I know. But some of us do. And some of us are built for suffering. Got that right. But there has to be some sort of evolutionary value for being built to suffer. What is it? Doesn't make any sense. Well, it depends on what you're doing. Because some things that cause people to suffer only exist in the modern world. Yeah. Like how to get attention for your channel. Should be just 1, 2, 3, upload something for you to see, and it gets attention. But no, you gotta have that little extra doing the impossible or editing for entertainment. You have to edit the videos for entertainment value. YouTube likes that. Yeah. I noticed. Alright, so the difference between these two. What did I start out with? And I didn't get much. Well, I got some. I didn't get many big usable flakes. So what do I do with these? I'll give you a sneak peek on something I want to offer in the auction. Yeah, I do this. This is a Dalton-ish looking thing. What I did with this one was I messed up this base doing a Clovis. I removed way too much doing the thinning flakes. So I just said, I can make a Dalton. But it was already really wide, so I said, I don't think I want to make it narrow. I'm going to keep it as a first stage. I don't know what type of Dalton that is. It's a kind of crazy looking. But yeah, I just finished it off as a Dalton. Ground it down. So I'm going to offer this in the auction. So that's what I do with these. That's what I've been doing. And then I'll get into the Cody points. You know, I'm practicing up on Clovis and Dalton, and I'm going to do some Cody points, you know, the Edens and the Scotts Bluffs with the Knife River. I ordered some casts of the Finley site, Edens and Scotts Bluffs. I spent money just for you guys. Yeah, I bought like 8 casts, and they didn't come in the mail yet, and I don't even know if they charged me for them yet. I'm looking to see if they've charged me on my credit card, and I don't see it. I might have to write them a letter. Dudes, take my money, so I don't have to wait months to get my casts. What's up? Anyway, that's it for today's video. Well, that's it for this video. I'll do something else on the next one. Alrighty, there you go.